This is the Brazoria County Minute. And now the host of the Brazoria County Minute, Christen English.
Hi, I'm Christen English with eXp Realty, and I am in the Alden B. Dow Museum in downtown Lake Jackson today. They are open, I think, the first Saturday of every month. We'll put the link to their website in the description of this so that you can get some more information. It's really cool. They've done a really great job in here. My guest today is Ryan Birdsong, and I'm a Ryan Birdsong fan. He's a really cool guy. He's funny. He was just literally cracking me up before with one of his stories. I love his stories. Ryan has been a friend, a mentor for me for a while, and he was even my broker at one point. He's just an all-around good guy. He's really cool, and he loves his community. He's involved in it. He puts his money here. He puts his life here, his work here. And I'm excited to have him here today. Just to tell you a little bit about the story of his family and their real estate brokerage here. And so, Ryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of yours. I've never done a podcast, so I was happy to say yes when you asked. I grew up here in Lake Jackson. My wife grew up here in Lake Jackson. My mom grew up here in Lake Jackson, so we've been here for a long time, and it's a special place to me and my family and my parents. We just enjoy living here so much and working here and raising our kids here now. We have 3 kids. They're 3, 6, and 8. So we've got our hands full with that.
They're super cute. I love watching your little family do all the family things.
Well, we appreciate it. They're wild. And I've got a wonderful wife, Courtney, who, again, she also grew up here. But it's kind of funny. We both went to church here, both went to school here. And so we've kind of been through all those things. Like when you talk about real estate and helping people, like we've lived here for so long, and, you know, we're able to talk to people about different activities for kids and the schools for kids and some different things like that I think makes it a neat opportunity to get to help people buying houses and stuff in this area.
Yeah. So speaking of buying houses, so tell us a little bit about how Birdsong Real Estate came to be.
So I don't know the intricacies of it, but it was in 1993. My dad, he had been working here since 78 as a realtor, and in 93 he finally opened his own shop, Birdsong Real Estate. It was right around the corner from here at 202 that way. It was always fun when I was working there as a kid, and people.
Was it next to the old Worst House?
Worst House is on the corner,
yeah.
And we used to have to tell people this is before cell phones and Google Maps and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a kid working at the office, and somebody'd call and say, "How do we get there?" And we'd say, "Well, take a left on that way." And they'd say, "Which way?" The street's called that.
It's always confusing.
But yeah, so Birdsong Real Estate was there for a long time. And somewhere along the lines, I think I was in high school because I remember helping move the office, but we moved to our office on Plantation Drive, and we're still there today. So it started in 93. I don't know the what got him to finally pull the trigger and do that, but I'm glad he did. And so we've been operating Birdsong Real Estate since 93.
Yeah. And so you just grew up in the business.
Yes, we all did. All the kids worked there. One of my favorite stories is anytime we wanted something as a kid, my dad would never just give it to us. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time I wanted this Dallas Cowboys starter jacket, and I don't know what it was, $60 maybe. And he said, "Well, at $6 an hour, that's 10 hours, and you can go buy your jacket." And I said, "Well, how do I do that?" And he said, "Well, you come to the office and you work." And so that's how it was for anything. If we wanted something, we had to go to the office and work. And so we kind of grew up in the business. It's kind of funny. My brother sells real estate in Austin now. Mm-hmm. My sister worked for a real estate company when she was going through college. So we all grew up in the business and went into the business, at least all of us at one point or another. So.
I heard someone say one time, real estate is not a job, it's a career, it's a lifestyle. Yeah. And that's true. Like if you're a kid of or a family member of someone who's in real estate, that's pretty much your life.
100%.
Or, you're on the way to eat for dinner. Someone calls in to show a house. Hey, we're going to make a quick pit stop,
Yep,
on the way home from church. Like you just never know whenever, I remember being on vacation and we were at the Alamo and the family had to stop because I had to go negotiate a deal. And okay, back to vacation.
100%. We always say if you need to sell a house, just go out of town.
Yeah,
as soon as you go out of town, somebody's going to call and need to buy a house.
So you were that was just part of your life.
Part of the deal.
So it was a natural kind of thing for you to just go into real estate.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one of the special things, my dad was so good about making time for us. And I remember when he would say, he'd be with me at like a soccer tournament. And somebody'd call and say, I need something right now. And he'd say, well, I'm at an appointment, but I'll help you as soon as I get back. I said, you're not at an appointment. And he said, you're my appointment today, and so you've got to make time for yourself.
And I do respect you because I see that in you. I see that in you as a parent where you make time for your family.
Yeah, it's so important. And we were just talking about before we started that, how short of time you have with kids and stuff. So you've got to make sure you take time for yourself while still delivering a good service. So,
because what is that saying? The days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
So
the age my kids are now, I definitely feel that. So, so you decided to get into real estate, and then how did it transition from your dad's business to yours?
It's a long story.
You can tell us
try
the
to
short
make it
version.
short. Okay. So I got my real estate license while I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school. You had to be 18. And so the second semester of my senior year, my dad wanted me to do it. I didn't. So I'm glad he pushed me to do that. So when I went to college, every summer and Christmas break, I would come home and work at the office, and I would, get a buyer or try to get listings and things like that. And so a lot of my spending money in college was from coming home during the breaks and selling a house, and that commission would be my spending money for the semester. So I started selling houses really young, which, you learn a whole lot. Every deal's different. And you just
never
learn so
stop
much.
learning. It's always something.
Learn something every deal. And then after college, I went and started selling new construction homes for a builder in Houston. And that was in 2007. And if everybody remembers what happened in 2007, the business just kind of shut down. The real estate industry, took a hard 180. And at the time, I didn't love what I was doing. I didn't love living in Houston. Something wasn't clicking for me personally. And so my dad, who never wanted me to come back here and sell real estate, said, why don't you come back and just work here until you figure out what you want to do next? And that was in 2007.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
So I stayed.
Yeah.
And then kind of long story of how I got there. I think it was 2011. TDCU approached my dad and ended up purchasing Birdsong Real Estate. And it was a great deal. They were rolling real estate, mortgage, insurance, title, all into the deal and giving discounts to all the members. So you got a discount on your real estate commissions, a discount on the title policy, a discount on your insurance, a discount on your origination fee with the mortgage. So it was a really neat program. We did it for 5 or 6 years. TDC was so good to us and gave us everything we needed to grow, and they played a big part in Birdsong Real Estate growing during that time. And then they were expanding into different markets, and for whatever reason, it didn't line up anymore. It's hard to kind of push Birdsong Real Estate in Houston or Victoria or Dallas or these places. They
it's kind of more of a local thing.
And so it just didn't fit their concept anymore. It didn't fail by any means. It was highly successful. It just no longer fit their vision. And so they approached my dad and said, hey, do you want to buy it back? And he said, man, I'm done. And so then they came to me and I said no. And then they called again, and through a long process, we ended up, they really wanted to go back to somebody with the Birdsong last name. They just felt like that was the thing that they wanted to do if they were going to, go back the other direction. And so long story short, I ended up purchasing the company back from TDCU, and that was in 2017. So it's been a good long while.
Yeah. And Birdsong's well-known name in real estate and has a good reputation in the community.
Well, I'll tell you, it's all the people. I'm just so fortunate. Everybody that works there is just outstanding. A lot of it, again, goes back to my dad. So many of them have been with us from a long, long time ago with my dad, went into the TDCU deal, came out of the TDCU deal. So we still have so many people that have been with us for a long time. And then, again, there's just no way I could do it without the people at our office.
Well,
most
yeah,
of them.
but
They're
I
just
feel like
outstanding.
that the culture there, is something that you kind of lead and then everyone else follows. And that is, it feels like a family there, even like the way that you redid the kitchen and put the big farmhouse family style table in there.
Yeah.
And I have so many good memories of just gathering around and people, having meals and just talking and sharing. And I love the family feel and always just very family friendly, kids in and out. And
it is. It's super
great,
family friendly.
I love that.
And so many of the people there and so many people in the business that aren't there anymore are like, moms to me. I mean, I grew up running around that office as a little kid. And so, again, I feel like it's so much of them more so than me. But I tell everybody I want it to be somewhere that everybody wants to come to work. And I enjoy going to the office. And, if the time comes where I don't enjoy going to the office anymore, then I did something terribly wrong.
Yeah.
So that's my goal for everybody. I don't want anybody to dread going to work. I want you to want to come to work. And I think right now we've got a good group of people that make it that way.
Yeah, that's good. So we talked a little bit about your roots in the community and how involved you are and what this community means to you. Can you tell me why you love this community so much?
Oh, there's so many reasons. Well, number one, it's just done so much for me. Like I said, growing up here was just a magical childhood.
City of Enchantment
the city
in
of
Lake
Enchantment.
Jackson, Texas.
It's just a great place to live. And so I get a great joy, like kind of showing that to new people in the area and things like that. But I don't know, our community is so unique and at different events, I talk to people that aren't from the area or new to the area and they just can't believe, the other day we had the BISD Education Foundation throwback prom.
That's always a good time.
And we haven't got the numbers back yet, but probably raised somewhere in the $200,000 range in one night for a little community like Lake Jackson to be able to do that.
This community does show up.
They give. And I just think it's a neat deal from the college, soiree fundraisers to golf tournaments, or heaven forbid somebody gets sick. They have a fundraiser for somebody that, gets sick real bad. People show up and give. And I don't think that happens in a lot of areas, at least from my experience in visiting with other people. And so there's tons of examples of it, but it's just I think it's a very unique place to live with just a great group of people. And then kind of getting back to that, 2007, 2008, Houston was flat. I mean, it was going backwards. And Lake Jackson, I mean, obviously it wasn't as good as it should have been, but it was still okay. And I think we're insulated a little bit with Dow Chemical and ESF and for now Freeport LNG and all these companies that I think we're super fortunate for a job market that we have. And then those companies just bring in great people. And so I feel like, as we're getting bigger and, I feel like I used to know everybody and now it's bigger where you don't, but every new person I meet is just a great person, a great asset to the community. Anyway, I just think that all the industry does a great job also of bringing in good people and keeping
I agree.
Us a neat place
in
to
fact,
live.
I had said to someone not too long ago that I feel like it's even getting better. It's a lot of times you would think of growth as a negative thing. I feel like it's a positive thing because I enjoy the diversity of people that are coming in and all that they bring to the community. I love seeing it grow. I love the small, it's a very good small business vibe here downtown and just so much growth in that area. And it's supported here. The community supports that.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it. I think they'll support an independent over some franchise any day of the week. I think all small businesses support each other. I mean, I think our little real estate community is so unique that we all support each other.
Yes.
I mean, I've got so many friends at different brokerages and, you go to Houston and they just don't have that personal connection. And so I think real estate's just a good example of it, but I think it's just across the board in all small businesses in Lake Jackson, people want you to succeed and they want to help you. And it's just a neat community and a neat place to live.
It is, yes. So going back to your dad a little bit, he wrote a book.
He wrote a book.
Yeah, and you brought it. You brought it to
I did.
him.
I brought a copy for you. So if you haven't read it yet, you need to.
Oh yeah, I haven't. So,
but it's for sale on Amazon if anybody wants to go get a copy. But it's called "Don't Worry About the Mule Going Blind. Load the Wagon." he goes, it's a memoir about all the jobs he's had since he was a little kid. My dad, he's been a hustler since he was very little. So when you get into that book, I mean, he was mopping floors and cleaning anything he could. He was selling Coke or collecting Coke bottles and selling them back. He was picking pecans. But he goes into and he outlined every job he's ever had and kind of circles into the real estate part of it also. But it's a neat read about not worrying about the things that are going on around you. That don't wait for the mule to go blind. Load the wagons. Go to work. Go make your own destiny. Don't worry about everything going on around you. So
that's true, because that can make you frozen in fear when you hear negative comments and doom and gloom. It can make you feel stuck. But if you just keep moving forward. Keep going. And
people worry about so much. I just had a buddy the other day.
Things that never even happen.
Things that don't happen. I had a buddy the other day. And he wanted to do this mail-out campaign. He sells real estate in another area. And he said, well, I said, did you send it out yet? He said, no. He's like, but I'm trying to figure out who's going to answer the call. And then what am I going to do to track it and follow up and all this? And I said, send the post. Like you're going to sit there forever and not do anything. Take action and do something. And you can figure out the details later. And so I think that's kind of, the title of his book is kind of that, in a nutshell. So,
yeah.
But it's a good short read. It's easy. It's fun. There's some great pictures in there of him and us.
Thanks for bringing this for me. Yeah,
and,
I'll definitely read it.
Check it out. It's fun.
So it sounds like if he started working young and worked hard, he instilled that work ethic into you by making you go out and earn your Cowboys starter jacket.
Yeah. Nothing was free. You had to work.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to instill that in our kids. It's hard. So every time, I'm trying to do that, I commend my dad for following through so well with us. But we're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you want this? You need to go to work. And so even now my kids, they'll just come to me randomly and say, Dad, I need a job. I said, for what? I said, well, I want this game and I got to earn money to get it. I said, you're right, you do. So we're trying to follow in those footsteps.
Good job. Yeah. So before we leave today, can you share with me what is one of your favorite quotes?
So do you remember those old stores in the malls that had the inspirational quotes on postcards and you could get the frame? So it's corny, but my favorite quote's from one of those. And it says, every day in Africa, a gazelle wakes up and knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it'll get eaten. And every day in Africa, a lion wakes up and knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle or it will get it.
Yeah.
It says the moral of the story is when you wake up, you better be running.
Yes.
And I feel that way every day. You get up and run. And get after it every day or you'll get eaten. and I've just kind of, like I said, the quote came from a pretty corny place, but I just love it. And
keeps you going.
Yeah. And every morning I try to wake up running. So
yeah. Well, thank you for being here and sharing your story and the story of your family and all of that. So,
well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
The Brazoria County Minute is brought to you by BeRemembered.us. Tell your story. Be remembered.